Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I'm going to start up on this Bally Star trick. This is got to be the third or fourth one of these I've done. This one's kind of a rough game. People brought it in a few months ago. I've been just waiting to get to it. I got the head twisted around here. There's the bolts for the head. I don't know where the bolts for the legs are. They may be down inside of here. The bag is stuffed. I hit the bolts. Yeah, I think that's the bolts. And there's other stuff. I don't know. Jeez, looks like that. Wow, it's old. Oh, a bag of rubbers. I bet they're not very. Yeah. Faded dreams right there. Oh, a bag of juice. Oh, mill wax. Wow. Yeah, that's the real stuff, you know. Who knows what else is in it? Oh, there's another sack. That's like more rubbers. A whole bunch of rubbers. And I dumped a bunch out. And some various hardware. Yeah, there's a kicker. Probably not a good sign. I'm just going to leave that in there for now. There's a plug. Maybe I'll just go ahead and get this plug out of here because I love to put the heads on without the plug out. And got enough slack there on the ground. That's good. So let's open up the front door, see what's in there. It's like opening up the trunk of a car. You learn a lot just figuring out, oh, yeah, there's a NICAD for the MPU. I bet it doesn't boot up. I bet there's corrosion all over it. Wow, lots of fuses. That's a little troubling. But this is a fuse blower. What else? A dime and a penny. A box of bulbs about halfway back. Coin door's mostly intact. So anyway, I'm going to throw this together real quick and we'll take a better look at it. All right, so this is what it looks like with the head on. Here's the side of the cabinet. It's, you know, tired looking, had a lot of plays. I think the story was mom and dad bought this for their kid. Their kid's grown and he wants it, get it refurbished. And so that's what we're gonna do. In the guts of this, it's all original caps. Got a little yank on it. Yeah, those are bent over pretty good. Have to go back, but not that it matters. I think, yeah, that's where the battery was gone. You see it just ate this board up. But this is the whole section that boots the game up is responsible for it. It's pretty toasty. This board is probably trash. I gotta look at my notes. I think we're LED in this game, so this board is basically obsolete when you go LED. You can put little add-on boards. They cost half as much as a new board, and you got all these extra connections. It's just, in my mind, it's just better to put in a new replacement. The soundboard, I don't know if the soundboard works. It doesn't really matter so much because I'm gonna put in one of those GTO boards for it. It's got the really cool Star Trek sounds. Rectifier board. Actually, I've seen worse. The connectors are not all burned up. But we'll pull it off and take a look at it. That'll probably be the first thing I do. Anyway, let me get some of this off. We'll take a look at the playfield. The back glass is flipped up. Looks pretty decent, except it's got two big gashes. I don't know what that's from, but pretty vicious gashes. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Anyway, like I said, I'm gonna clear all this stuff off so we can take a look at it. So this game is pretty nasty. You still can't see anything. Just hose it down with a little spray away with glass cleaner and just see what is behind door number 3. Oh man, that's strangely satisfying. Okay, now we can kind of see. What is that? Some kind of little critter on his back, right there. Lost him. There he is. Is that a critter? Oh yeah, it's like a moth maybe. I don't know what they'd be eating in a pinball machine. But anyway, it's got the typical wear around the inserts. A little bit more around those inserts, probably the pop bumpers. Oh man. Wow, that's a pretty, where I gotta zoom back out so I can find it here. I don't know if you can see that. It's been glued down to the playfield. Probably not the way you want to attack that, but anyway, hopefully there's not too many more of those. That mylar under that pop bumper is pulling up. Looks pretty ugly. Jane fixed a mark just like that one right there on the last one we did. I swear you couldn't even see it. This one's got a lot of wear. Actually, this whole ball line is pretty much worn down. Quite a bit of wear. Not so much over here. Around the flippers looks decent. But I think this will be okay. Hopefully that doesn't pull up too much paint when getting that out of there. The plastics, usually the clear ones are, this one is usually busted, but it's maybe around the edges. I don't know what that white stuff is. It looks like maybe more glue on there. I don't know. It's kind of weird. These plastics in the back are kind of undulating, but that's fixable. Put them in the oven and between two pieces of glass. So anyway, I guess I could plug it in just for fun. I don't think it's gonna hurt anything. I'm sure that's been done already. Here's my prediction. We'll get GI lights. Because I get people calling all the time. It turns on, it just won't kick a ball out. And it's like, well, it didn't really turn on. It's just because the GI lights, as most of y'all know, it's like they're just wired directly up to the plug. I mean, you turn the plug on, they're going to come on. The game doesn't have to boot up at all for the GI lights to come on. So I'll plug this sucker in and we'll see what happens. Maybe it will boot. I have no idea. Well, I should have had the camera rolling when I plugged it in because the game was already turned on down below. So I heard it kind of a humming noise, like the transformer buzz, only it was a little bit louder than that. And then the soundboard made a couple of beep, 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 and then it turned off. I mean, and no GI lights everywhere, anytime. So I think I probably blew a fuse. I didn't really look at these fuses to see if any of them were blown before. I can't really see any that are obviously blown with my eyeball. Maybe that one is right there. I think so, yeah. Anyway, so we got some issues, but that's to be expected. I pulled that fuse and it is indeed blown there. Another thing I saw is that fuse on the very back side over there. It's the wrong size fuse physically. It's too big. So to get it in there, it jammed its blade, the fuse holder apart. So that's gonna have to be fixed. So anyway, I'm gonna quit dinking around with turning it on. And I'm just gonna start by pulling this whole transformer and rectifier board out of here. Go through that, make sure that's good. So we get the solenoid driver board working. Then we can start to think about doing something with the MPU. I'll probably just swap it out either way because I know they're not gonna want that MPU in there. That is some serious. I'm almost positive that's not gonna work anyway. That could probably be saved if somebody was really wanting to, but honestly, it's not cost. It doesn't hardly pay for itself to do that. Not for me anyway. So we'll rebuild this one, and really those are the only two boards back here because the rest of them are going to be They're all gonna be new, because this one's a new one for LEDs. This one's pretty corroded, and this one's gonna be new to get the new high-tech Star Trek sounds. And then we'll be kind of ready to get going to everything else. Okay, so I just pulled the shield off of there, got the connectors off, got this unbolted, and when I was taking this connector, I realized it was broken. And they've got this one wire soldered onto the pin there, so I'm gonna have to unsolder that or clip it just so I can get this board out. And also I'm gonna get a new connector here, which that really kind of sucks. Probably needs new pins anyway. Oh, for sure. Those ones that the casing is brown, look inside there, it's just total rust. Yeah, they get hot and they burn up. So we can get a soldering iron. I'll desolder that real quick, and I'll get this thing yanked out of here. I think it's free, actually. I may just snip that off. I think I'll do that. I'll just snip it. Oh, this very bad news here. I pulled this thing out. There's wax under here, and there's wax that's oozed out of this transformer. So this transformer is very likely bad. And that's not for me turning on for 10 seconds, because this thing is cold. That thing is burnt up. It got hot. Oh, that's rat shit. But that is wax from the transformer right there. That looks like a pellet from a rat or something, but it's red. It's that red waxy gunk. You can see it, stick it coming out of there. So I bet this thing is toast. I think it probably is. That really sucks. That puts a bit. You can't buy these things, not new. You have to, eBay or whatever to find somebody that's got one. There's a chance I might have one. Last one I had to get it off eBay. They're not cheap. Anyway, I think maybe it's not rat droppings. I'm holding it either way, right? No, I think that's more wax. Yeah, I think that is. It's like black wax, or they've used two types of wax in this thing. Maybe it's the cap. I think that's the black stuff that's on the top here. The red, because it's not here on this side. There's a black layer on top. I don't know. Wow, it looks almost charred up underneath there. You see all that red wax coming out of the bottom of there? And there's the black goo. So I think the black is like roasted red wax. Yeah, this thing's toast. So that's, I need a 122 dash, what does that say? 125 or 126. If I could do like this, I know that's messing y'all up, but I'd say that's a 5. 122-125. I got a couple of transformers up here. I don't know what they are. That's a 122, 103, and 122, 105. Well, that one's looking pretty. I don't know if I'd even want them. Yeah, that one's toasty. I'd just throw that in the trash. I think I will. Yeah, shouldn't have wax coming out of it. Well, the 105, I don't know. I'll go look on PinWiki and see what it says about the 105. I said the 105. It's it's the 103 that didn't have wax pouring out of it. So that's the one that's the game right there. And this is a list of the other ones. They don't list the 122-103. I don't have any idea where that came from, because I didn't pull it out of a game. It came in a box of parts, so it may not be even close. I'll dig around and see what if I can find. So here's all the voltages. That one in the blown one in the game. It's got 50 volts AC, 173, 7, 7, and 12. And you could substitute some of these other ones. The voltages are slightly different, but they're close enough. It doesn't really matter. Some of these are for games that have, like this one. I'm guessing this one here is one that's got a secondary board for controlled lights. So probably that's what that is. Anyway, let me see what the 103. It's the one, which one did I just throw away? Yeah, I threw away the 105, so I need to find 122, 103, find out what voltages it puts out. Well, I'm looking here on eBay, and there's one. That's old Todd Tucky there, TNT Amusements. He's got one for 211, that would work. This guy's got a bunch of transformers, but they're not the right ones for me. Here's one for 300, and that's a rectifier board for a more modern one, so the rectifier board would be of no use to me. Same with this one. That one didn't have the rectifier board. Same thing, it's got the wrong plugs on it, which kind of sucks. Just gotta repin it all. That's the wrong part, wrong part. So there's another one. That would work. That's $200. So yeah, but here's what I found. I didn't know this was the case, but their home pin, they're selling a brand new transformer, and it's wired up to a brand new rectifier, and that's it's not, well, if I could get a better picture of it, yeah, it's just an exact duplication of the original one. It's just a big heat sink over those 3 rectifiers at the top. And this is 300, so it's, $80 to $100 boards, and you get a known working, and it's warranted, at least upon showing up, and you get a brand new rectifier board. So it saves the labor of having to go through a used rectifier board that comes on eBay that's, may or may not work. The one from Todd Tucky, he actually guaranteed that his works when it leaves, and I trust Todd. But anyway, yeah, the other people, I have no idea. So anyway, I think I'm going to do this option. I think that's a good option for this client, and so I'll order this. And the other thing is, this thing will probably be here next week. So talk to you next week. So I got it on the new transformer and rectifier board. It's already all wired up, which is really nice. Got all the fuses in it. I mean, this bridge rectifier is just a clone of this one, except it's nice and it's not all burnt up. Also came with a kit of all the hardware to mount this thing, in case you lost any. It's got the pins. I'm not going to use those pins. I'm going to use Trifricon pins that are 3-sided. And it's got the connectors. I was thinking, well, where's the big one? But that's the connector 3, which is this one here. And actually, they've got it listed 3L and 3R. This one's just J3, so they're using 2 smaller ones. It's probably a good idea, because it's always super hard to get that off because it's so big. Having 2 smaller ones is actually a better idea. So I'm going to get busy. You see these other ones, like that connector, you could reuse it. I won't, just because I got a new one. That one really should be changed out, because that's where it's burnt there, it's brittle. And this one's definitely burnt. First, I'm gonna start by repinning this stuff, and then maybe vacuum out all the old transformer wax and debris. Get this transformer in there, repin, and make sure I got all the voltage. It does have all the test points right up here, labeled real nice. It also has a little 5-volt LED, which is kind of nice. I think that is TP1. No, this wouldn't be 5 volts, because this board doesn't make 5 volts. I guess TP1, I think that's 12 volt that becomes the 5 volts. I'm not 100% positive. I think so, though. Notice that, got a little bent in shipping. I'll just get a pair of pliers and bend that back down, no big problem. I was thinking they didn't put the little plugs in the kit. They've already got them mounted in the right place. That's pretty nice. Can't hardly mess that up. Okay, well, I'll do my favorite thing in the world and repin all these connectors. I just line up the plug with the old plug, and I can for sure see that green wire probably goes there. And then I was remembered, I think I desoldered that. And I know it's 5 minutes ago for y'all, but it was like a month ago for me. And sure enough, and if I look real close, there's a little bit of green insulation on that wire. So for sure, that's where that green wire goes, right on the end of there. So got these 2 done. It's not quite pushed in there all the way. There it goes. And I'll get this final one done, and we'll get this mounted and check some voltages. Just taking a break from pinning, and I'm gonna clean up this board. I mean, it's got like dirt dauber nests, and I'm gonna rebuild it. And so I don't even know what's working. That fuse holder's got the wrong fuse in there, been splayed out. So just gonna clean it up a little bit before I do much to it. And I don't know how much of this is gonna fit in there. Well, let me get the rack out of it. Probably need a little more room. Dirt dauber be gone. Let that set for just a little bit. Yeah, it didn't do too much to that dirt dauber. It helped. I'm gonna scrub a little bit on it. Oh yeah. Oh geez, making a mess. That whole cap's going, so it doesn't really matter. Well, the part that I got doused is a lot cleaner. I'm gonna get a brush and scrub the rest of it. So I scrubbed it, rinsed it, and it looks a lot better. We'll set it in front of the fan, let it dry. I won't turn it on for at least 24 hours, but I can work on it as soon as it gets dried. And replace all these caps and go through it a little bit. So I've got the transformer rectifier board plugged in, mounted. I've got everything else. Well, the solenoid board's gone. Got that disconnected. That's power coming in there. That's power coming. All the other boards are disconnected. Left my multimeter on location. They called me, and so I'm gonna use my backup Harbor Freight junker and check all my voltages here real quick. So I got some GI lights. Let's go through here. Shoot. There's TP2. Oh, they're labeled what they're supposed to be too. 230, 143. Yeah, that one is low until you plug it in. TP3 is supposed to be 11. It's 11. TP4, that's AC. 45. I got 45. I don't even see TP1. Let's do let's do our AC, TP4. Got 7 volts. Let me see if I can find TP1 real quick. That's right, it's kind of hidden because that light is kind of making it hard to read. Yeah, 7 volts. It says 5 volts. It's not supposed to make 5 volts, it's supposed to be like 12. It's making 7. I guess that's probably okay because it's ultimately going to get tuned down to 5. So I think that's probably all right. It says 5V4. I don't know. We'll see. So I got this solenoid driver board here on the bench. It's mostly dried up. I just looked at this one right here. This transistor, it looks pretty crispy. I don't know if y'all can see that little bump on there. I think that's pretty much fried for sure. I don't know if there's any others that are toasty, but we'll check them out. So I'm going to swap that cap, ground both those caps better than they are. And connect the 5 volts from the top of the board to the bottom of the board. Bring it to here. So I believe it's from that test point to that test point. Put a jumper across there because otherwise the 5 volts has to come off this connector and then come back down to feed the bottom of the board. And yeah, this thing looks a lot better. I'm going to check that 5 volt regulator and check these transistors before I throw it back in there. Just and check all these transistors. Maybe I'll do that right now. So I use my totally like crapo Harbor Freight meter, but just to kind of prove the point that you can. So there's that it says 500. That's 0.5 and 0.5, and this one's not. That one's open. So this one's different. That's, I think, well, I haven't looked actually. Yeah, that's the same one that's fried. So didn't really need to measure that with the multimeter, but all the rest of them were good. So I'm going to take that one out, replace it, and I'm also going to replace that fuse holder. I may go ahead and make it wider so I can put in a more tip that. It's hard to get these little, that size, the proper size fuse, and that's why people always jam those in there. So I may just move that out so I can put in a proper size, normal size fuse while I'm at it. Just gonna cut some of this stuff out of here. You see it's still wet. That's why you want to give it at least 24 hours, because there's water hiding underneath. And you don't want to find that with electricity. Yeah, I said 24 hours. Really, if it's at least that long. Longer is better. Okay, so I think I got my iron hot. Left those wires long so I could have something to hold on to without frying my fingers. I'm getting stray solder everywhere. Get some new caps in there real quick. And the next thing is to ground this negative one to that trace there. That trace there is actually connected to like the corner of the board, so it gives it a better one. So I'm just going to scratch this off here. And I'm just gonna make a very big blob. There we go. And I'll ground this other high voltage cap up here similarly. I think it's this side here. Yeah, that's the positive. So this side here, I'll just do a little wire and run it over to this side. So next morning, and I'm gonna go ahead and take out this bad transistor here, and I'm gonna try out my new tool I got. I got this shovel soldering iron. Let's see how well this thing works here for this application. Say fairly well. I'll get the rest of this solder out of here. I'm gonna make note which transistor this is. Oh, that lead broke off. Well, I can't yank that from the other side. Figure out which transistor this is so that I can, when I go back to the game, pay special attention to that coil and or diode and make sure, yeah, that's pretty ugly looking. Make sure that it's not all burn up, because there's a fair chance it will be. So if I can find a tip 102 over here. Note to self, I need to order some more of these. I'm about out. I think I will clean that up. Some alcohol and wire brush. That residual char, well, that carbon is fairly conductive. So you want to get rid of it so it doesn't short between the leads through the carbon that's on there. And I think I'm still not clean. I'm gonna have to resolder this and pull it off again. It's kind of nasty from all that burning. So it didn't clean up super well the first time. That looks better. And that looks better. As does that. I think that will be good enough. Hold it up to the window. Yep. Now you can really see, that's what I saw with that just like fried. So just resolder this in real quick, and this will be ready to go back in the game. Then we can see if we've got all our voltages from this board, namely the 5 volts and the regulated, say 175 or something from the high voltage area. I got this board in here, and I'm gonna have to resolder to this connector here. This is where all the power comes and goes on this board. But I'm gonna plug it in just for a second, just to see if I can measure if it's making 5 volts in the regulated high voltage. So this should be, well, normally it'd be the 12 volts coming in, but on this, it is 13 volts. Huh, well, I don't know what I was measuring down there. I thought I saw 7. Let's see if we got 5 here. 5.2, that looks good. Let's see what our high voltage is doing. That should be the unregulated. I saw it for a second. I thought I did. Let's try this other one. That's the regulated side, 151. It's all of it. Just this electrode here is, or the test point, it's kind of crusty. It's not making good contact. Well, in any case, the regulated side is 150. That's a little low. Let's see if I can turn it up a little bit. $160. I'll turn a little bit more. $167. It was turned all the way down. 185, maybe a little high. I think they're supposed to be at like 180 or 185. I usually turn them 175, just kind of give a break to the displays. There's 171. Tweak it just a smidge more. 175. Okay, that's about where I want to keep it. So I think that board is good. Next thing is connectors. I think I'm gonna have to do at least all these 0.156. I mean, these things are just, that one doesn't look quite as bad as that last one I did. This one's horrendous. And geez, that one won't even come off. I can tell it's gonna be bad. It's crusty. Oh yeah, geez. So, how about this lamp board? It's probably not quite so bad. Well, we'll see. So definitely these two, those three. Probably I don't see this one. Where is it at? Oh, it's right here. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad. At least three of these, and yeah, lots of repinning. So I'll probably do this over the next couple of days because where's my back out? So I'll do one, do something else, do another one, do something else. I can't stand here at the game and do them all at once. Somebody told me another hint, so I'll pass it on, is basically undo all but one of the, and I might do that for this game because I've got so much repainting. Undo all but one bolt, and then you can swing this head out. That way you're not like reaching over here. It's a very cumbersome position to be in, reaching over, your back's bent over to get to these things. You can stand up vertically. That's the biggest part, is you got to reach into the game. I think I'm going to do that for this game. So I spent about 10 minutes wrestling to get this board out. I mean, this screw down here, I mean, it was fused in there, and in that bottom hole there, it's kind of, I got the rest of it loose, and I was wrestling back and forth, got it kind of bent up, but I mean, I ended up just ripping it out because it was not going to come. It was well chemically welded. I tried a little PB blaster, and it's still, yeah, you shouldn't use PB blaster in a pinball machine. Yeah, you shouldn't, but yeah, you shouldn't have this kind of corrosion in a pinball machine either. Anyway, this one's done. I'll put in a new MPU. I'll get that corrosion cleaned up before I stick it in there. Otherwise, it'll start spreading from right there. It'll grow. All right, I put the new MPU in there. Got the game dialed up. I've got I haven't repinned these yet. I'm going to. I do have these repinned on this side, but I'm just gonna. So the game should boot. We'll see the green flicker, and we should have displays working. I see the glow on some of the displays, and it's okay. It's done blinking. I should have counted them. It's trying to do something on some of the displays. So these displays are pretty, like that one's okay. It's kind of got a 0. No, yeah, we're just wiggling the connectors here. Yeah, these are all pretty much in need of some refurbishment. I think the displays are actually working. I mean, the signals to the displays are working. Obviously, they're not really working, but that one's pretty burnt up. They're all going to have to be reworked. So anyway, the game's booted. Still a lot of work to go. I'm not even going to worry about this board here because, like I said earlier, I think I said it. It's been a month or so. Putting LEDs in this. I'm going to put an LED board in here, LED capable board. Going to put the GTO board in here, so don't need that. I guess I could plug that in and see if the chimes are working. How about I do that? Actually, I was going to reboot that, but I'd have to plug it off the solenoid driver board. I don't want to do that till I figure out what Q10 is. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So Q10, I don't know. Some of these solenoids is probably burnt to a crisp. Maybe I'll look that up real quick. So I pulled up the schematics, and Q10, if I'm shaking here, it's because Django's jumping in my lap. Q10 is a left slingshot, so yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put on Django for a second here. Okay, Django feels all better. Left slingshot, I'm gonna have to get some stuff off the playfield so I can get. Well, it's not burnt, but it's broken. I'm not well. It probably shorted, like something like that. I don't know. That's not factory. After that, looks like this other one's busted also. That's probably from somebody setting the game down on the lockdown bar, like having the end of the play field over here and or dropping it or something. I don't know. That's be my guess what happened. Break both of those. Anyway, yeah. What the heck is somebody? It's, I don't quite get what they were trying to do here. Make an extension cord? I mean, they got a little extra. I don't get it. Not sure why that would have been necessary. Anyway, well, need a couple 26 1200s. So I decided to take a break from repinning, and I'm gonna just work on these displays here. And I'm just, the first step on these things is always just fix these cold solder joints, and you can see how cold these are. Let's look at the next one up. Oh, even worse, yeah. So reflowing the solder on these might get them to work 100%. They're all pretty horrible, so I'm just gonna get after it here real quick. I got the displays mounted in the game. We'll boot it up here. See what kind of progress we've made, if any. Took 6 7 seconds for this game to boot. Well, I know it's flashing for y'all. So stage 2 of this is this: if you got weird stuff going on all of them, is plug them in one at a time, because sometimes you'll get a problem in one and it will transfer to another one, and it's really not the display. It's, well, it is one display, and that problem will go across several of them. That one I think is actually, well, it's missing a digit. And that one, I'm gonna unplug that one and then see where we're at. You know, I tried to plug that. I was like, we're missing that first digit on all of them. I haven't repinned this connector, which is the display connector. Before I get too far down the road monkeying with this, I need to repin this sucker. I need to repin this, and I got a lot of repinning to do, but in particular for the displays, this one needs to be good, and it's not. So I could be missing digits just because of that connector there. On this new board, I think it actually even, I think it says, yeah, display. Well, I can't get my head in there, but yeah, anyway. So I'll do that next. I'll repin that sucker. It's pretty filthy, as you can see. Taking out that first pin, and the connector broke on me. That's a 28 pin. Biggest I've got is 25, so I guess this one's gonna be on pause till I get some more parts. So I just got through repinning that connector. Here's one of the pins I took out of there. It's pretty tarnished, corroded, whatever you want to say. And each one, the bottom ones, like you can't see it now, but when I had that connector off there, each one of those is strobing each one of these digits. So very likely that's the reason why the first digit was not working on any of them. So I'll boot it up and see what we've got going here. I bet the first digit's working. We'll see. Yes. Oh, I've still got this one unplugged here. Let me actually just I think I've got my coin door plugged in. I haven't redone the coin door switch. Well, I went past it already. Basically the service menu is not working. I don't know if I've got this plugged in. I do, but it's probably not working because I haven't repinned this yet. So, you know, haven't repinned this one or this one. And they definitely, well, this one is not looking that awful bad. You really can't see looking down in there. It's very hard. You get a measure of it by looking at the backside. Usually they're similar. But in any case, it's not going into the service mode. We're definitely booted. I'm pressing this button. Huh. Wonder if it'll coin up. It's not taking a credit either. Oh well. Well, I think I'll keep repinning. I guess I'll do this one. So I've got both of these and I got both of those. I guess I'll do both of these next. So I'm repinning this header, this connector here. This second pin that's been busted off. So that's why the service button wasn't working. All right, so I got that connector done. Still haven't done that one, but I should be able to get it into test mode, use the credit switches, start a game. Main thing I want to do right now is see if I can use the service button to test these displays a little bit more. Oh, and I plugged in the soundboard. It obviously works. You heard it. I plugged in the lamp board. It's at least somewhat working. Some of the lamps are working. See if I can get this service button to work. It's still not working. See if I can get this credit switches to work. Okay, the credit switches are working now. I guess I added a bunch of switches. Oh, the switch was stuck down. Can't really see what it says, but you can tell it's changing. Sometime here it's gonna run out of credit. Okay, let's see if it'll start a game. Yep, it started a game. None of those are firing. Flippers are firing. So the upper playfield, that might be just the fuse for the upper playfield. Those did not reset. I bet the fuse for the playfield is shot. So we get that. We don't have a service button. I'm not sure what's up with that. I'm gonna get a screwdriver and just short that real quick. See if that will, what that does for us. We're still, I don't think that did anything. I heard a sound, but I don't think that was, I'm hitting the switch now. There we go. I just reset the game. I think I went through the whole thing there actually. So, because if you hit the switch enough times, it will go through. So it may just be this button is bad. There we go. I just mashed it about 10 times in a row real hard. Now I'm in the first test, the lamp test. So let me do it. There we go. We got the displays going. So we're missing a digit. That is pretty much destroyed. That's probably, that'd be R1, R3. So R3, the resistor 3 is probably burn up on this thing. I don't know if it's worth messing with because the display is so messed up. There's R1. There's R3 right there. I bet it's not good. Or one of those transistors right next to it, probably. Anyway, probably not gonna mess with it because again, it's pretty much trashed. But the rest of them look good. Might just clean this up. Just the contacts are just dirty. Whoa, that thing's got a knocker now. That scared the shit out of me. Oh, well, quit dinking around here, and I've still got this one. And you know, again, it doesn't look bad, but that other one didn't look bad, and two of them were broke off. So I got to do at a minimum this one. Probably gonna have to do some of these on the lamp board. Oh, I love doing pinning. Just like I'm about out of pins. I'm gonna have to get some more. I've got some more in the baggie in my my toolbox, but you'll have to get some more for sure. So I got some parts in for this game. Got a new lamp driver board, got it plugged in there. And these LED based ones, since I'm on LED the game, you gotta supply the 6 volts DC to the board. So it comes with this little cable and you just solder it onto the controlled 6 volts there. So I got that going. I went ahead and put LEDs in the back box, and I swapped out the match unit. You can see it here. See those black dots? It's where it's burned up, and there's nothing to do when the glass gets burnt like that. This thing is basically toast. Haven't done anything to this. I've got it in the lamp test. You can see there's a few of them that are alive. Hopefully it's just bulbs because it's got a brand new board. Probably bulbs and or sockets. I've also got 2 new coils for the slingshots that were busted, if you remember. I mean, I guess it's 5 minutes for y'all, but the plastic parts on these were broken. So anyway, so I think I'll do that. Maybe I'll go ahead and put the LEDs in, at least in the controlled lights, and get the lights working. And then I'm basically ready to tear this thing down and stick Jane on this playfield. I guess before I get too far along here, I'm gonna glue this back on there. It was basically falling off. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of wood glue, stick it on there, and clamp it in place. So I got the cabinet there glued and clamped. Started working on these lights and sockets, and when I was taking out the old bulbs, like a lot of them were spinning. So what I've done here is just get a little tiny file right there on that surface, and then solder the base so this base doesn't spin, and that will fix most of these. So I started doing that. Also been cleaning up, like that insert I've cleaned, and that insert I haven't cleaned. So just a matter of a brush and alcohol, just spray and twist and clean. And so I'm just gonna keep going. I've got a lot of bulbs, and I think I'm gonna just go ahead and proactively go ahead and solder every single one of them, because there's so many of them that are flaky. You know, if I don't do them all, there'll be another one pop up later. So I got all the controlled lights redone. I got them all soldered up. A few of them are not working. There's 4 right here that are not working. There's 1 here. A couple of them I had to move the grounding leg, like this one here. I had to move the grounding leg from there to there because this little tab is just too loose on that one. So I had to do that on several of them. Yeah, that one's not working there either. But I still haven't repinned the lamp board, so I'm hoping that's the case for the rest of these. So we'll see. And I also resoldered the GI lights, all of them except for these 2, which I really couldn't get to. I may do those later, we'll see. I tried to wiggle them, they don't seem loose. I'm gonna see if they're good shape, then I'm gonna just let those be, but I got all the rest of them. So I guess next it's time to repin the lamp board, but I'm gonna let this sit overnight. I don't wanna take it off until tomorrow, so that's enough for today on this game. Dogs are telling me it's 32 minutes late, so they are ready to go outside and go for a walk. Are y'all ready? Oh! I went ahead and took the slingshot assemblies apart, put the new coils on there, And yeah, somebody, I don't know how this happened, but somebody must have hacked out the old one, just snipped it, and then did this. So anyway, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take these wires out of that retaining loop there and take it from right here, and then I think I'll have enough length and just get rid of this ugly splice. So the next morning, repinned the lamp board. It was really fun. I got most of these going. I've got a couple out here. That one, I think I've got the wrong color. That's a golden yellow instead of the yellow, or vice versa. So 2 out here, that one's out, and then there's one up here. Those 2 are GIs. I don't think I ever put those bulbs back in there. I think that's it. So, and I believe this one is one of these there might have been one of these. I think it's this one. The grounding wire on it had broken loose, and it was just laying in there loose. And so I went ahead and reattached it. And so it's possible that during the process of turning this thing on and off and on and off, that it basically shorted out one of these SCRs. So I may end up having a bad one on that SCR, so I may have to swap one of those out on the SCR to get that one working. But I'm gonna flip the game up and see what I can do to get this thing going. Okay, this one is an example. I've already soldered the base on here. Oops, let me focus. You can see that. Oh, wrong one. This one here. Yeah, I've already soldered the base on there, but so it's this side here. Here, if I short across that there, that makes it work. So I'm shorting from where it's soldered on. The light's making my focus go out, but that plate where it's soldered, and now it's just touching it. So I'm gonna move this wire from that solder plate right to that tip there, and that will fix that one. And it probably will fix this one too, yeah. So those are those 2. There's another one down here. That's probably the same thing. If you wiggle the tab and that makes it work, that's usually the case. Or you can get a screwdriver or something and short it across there. That's making it work. Because it's another press fitting between this tab and that little nub there. And usually that's not the case, but it's the case frequently. Usually it's soldering between the can and the base, or like that little piece of solder right there. But sometimes you have to move the wire, like on this one I've already done it, from that tab right there right to there. So I got 2 left lights that are not working. This one, the extra ball, and I have measured between this tab. I've started by measuring between that wire, which is the hot side, and the tab. And I was measuring the 5 volts, kind of going back and forth. So I was like, well, maybe this wasn't making good contact. It looks like it is. So I even measured between that nub there and the casing. And even then I had the 5 volts. So it's inside of this. I cleaned the inside of that where the bulb touches. I bent it back, and it's got this little scrubbing tools. Clean the inside of the socket. Usually that'll clean it up. Didn't do it. So I'm gonna swap out that socket and this other one right here. This one doesn't have 5 volts across between here and here. So this is one that I resoldered. I think probably the SCRs burn up on it. So I'm gonna have to figure out which one of those SCRs it is and replace it. Got a new socket in there, and that one's working. So we're just left with this one. So I'm gonna take out the schematics, figure out which one of those SCRs it is, and swap it out. And that is, I think it's this for the stand-up. So it's the 300 or 3000, what does it say? And advanced bonus. So I found it on the schematics here. It is that center target. And if we follow that line, over here, we're at Q25. So that's the little SCR. It looks just like a transistor. It pretty much is a transistor, almost. So I'm gonna pull the board. I'll check Q25, but I'm gonna swap it regardless of what it says. So I found Q25 right here. It's this little tiny one. These other holes are in parallel, so we could put in a replacement real easy. So I'll show you this one here. I've got like the 0.7 across those 2 here. That's one that's working. This one here. 3.1, so it's no way no. So I'm just going to desolder that real quick. And I don't know the best way to do this. I just clop a bunch of solder on there and just kind of scrape it away. 'Cause I don't really have the proper tools. There, it's done. You know, I don't have a heat solder gun, heat desoldering gun, so it's done. So I just grab myself a wow, it's my last one. I've got to get some more of those. A new SCR. Looks like it goes this way. Throw that on real quick. And throw it back in the game, and hopefully we have a center target light. Somewhere I've got some side cutters. So it's working now. I do have some blinking, and that's real blinking, not fake blinking. And I just realized it because I didn't plug in the controlled voltage to the board. That gets rid of all that blinking nonsense. So I believe I've got all my LEDs working now. Might be a decent time to stop this video. I don't know. Everything else is playfield. Maybe I'll just run through again, make sure all the switches are working. Just pulled this fuse out of there, and it is blown. Also, the fuse holder is pretty much shot. So yeah, that one there is just like gone. So I'll put a new fuse holder in there. Just notice this nonsense up here. It's like kind of hacked up. So I'll fix that when I redo the flipper. I mean, the coil is like it's missing a bolt there. The coil stop, that is. Yeah, it's all gonna be redone. But anyway, I'm gonna start by put a new fuse holder, a new fuse, and see if we can get some solenoids on the playfield, because we don't at the moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and desolder this before I unscrew it. That way, basically adds another set of hands to hold it. Makes it a little easier desoldering. And some fresh solder always helps. There we go. Get this sucker unscrewed if I can find a screwdriver. There we go. Into the trash with that. Put it in my new one. Tune up these leads a little bit. Just trying to get these things stuck on here. You can see there it says 1 amp slow blow. So I'll go get a 1 amp slow blow. You know, I'm kind of suspicious that something's going to blow immediately. Because remember, transformer was fried, and there was like a bushel of blown fuses in the bottom. But we still haven't really found the culprit from any of that. So this might be exciting. This is definitely not the time to put in too big a fuse. I'll put in the proper fuse. That's a 1 amp slow blow right there. I'm just gonna keep the pack over here. And yeah, let's fire it up, see what happens. Smoke test, take one. Hey, the drop target's reset. It did not blow, visually at least. I'm gonna start a game. The drop target set, I heard this, kick the ball out. Okay, the solenoids are working. The flippers are already working. Yeah, that is just ugly right there. Can y'all see that? Yeah. I'm not exactly sure. That ain't right. I'm gonna have to get the schematics out and redo this whole thing. And there's like, I don't know if you can see that, there's like a little stray wires that are hanging that could easily short between terminals on this. That's just not very good. That's cut almost, probably got dropped. Anyway, okay, so let me drop this play field. I couldn't get anything to work before because I didn't have any solenoid voltage, but now that I do, so I collect my bonus. Yep, and I've got 2 tons of it. I think that's all of them. Slingshots. Yep. And I already did the it's gonna be forever counting off bonus. Because I'm such a good player, I got the 2 times multiplier. I'm just gonna chop my finger in 2. Okay, so it's playing now. Obviously, it wouldn't play very well. But I'm gonna end this video here. It's functional. I'll save all the rest of it, basically redoing the playfield mechanics and the cosmetics, make it play well and look good. And so I'll say that for another one. But if you like this video, click the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Yeah, look at this sad dog. He didn't get his little brother today. His little brother stayed at home.